And if you go inside, encourage you to read it yourself. Here's the flow chart of people who are going to be identified. They're going to be screened. We think you're a risk, and no, we don't think you're a risk now, or you're drawn into what is clearly a self-regulating wheel. Once you're in this system, essentially secretive, unaccountable people are the people who decide whether they're going to let you out of the surveillance wheel. This makes Stasi Germany just look like a holiday camp, Mike. We're going to keep going. So here's a bit more. We are saying that the channel is Mapper Light. It's the same thing but by another name. What is the scale of it? We'll look at who's going to get involved. County councils, district councils, borough councils, the Council of the Isles of Scilly, and then we've got NHS, social workers, schools, further education, universities, youth offending, children's services, safeguarding boards, local authority, troubled families, border force, housing, prisons. This makes East Germany just look ridiculous.
I mean, this is about 4 times we said this now, but it really is an incredible, how far this agenda has come without anybody noticing is staggering, isn't it?
It is. Well, we're going to continue to take it apart here because then people can do the research themselves. But get into the documentation. We thought it would be interesting to see who the terrorist and domestic extremists are. Well, those convicted of a terrorist act or offence, or terrorist-related offences, have been convicted of an offence of conspiring, attempting, aiding, abetting, counselling, procuring. The offences cover the world, but then we go down here, domestic extremism, animal rights, environmental, far right, far left, not defined, of course.
No.
Is UKIP far right? Maybe. Maybe everybody in UKIP is a domestic extremist. And then this is beautiful because down here it says emerging trends or any activities that unduly and illegally influence or threaten the economic and community cohesion of the country. That unduly, well, what's the definition of that?
Does that include sex acts with pigs?
Sex acts with pigs. Well, one would hope so, but I think probably interfering with our porky brethren will be excluded in order to protect senior members of the government. So this is the next lie. An individual's engagement with the programme is entirely voluntary at all stages. Detailed guidance on channel is available. This is a lie because the PREVENT system, as with MAPPA, is carried out by committees behind closed doors. And once the procedure starts, the target individual is completely unaware that they're being spied on in the first place. And even if they discover, they don't have any right of reply in front of these closed door committees. So that was the wheel I was trying to describe. Once you're drawn into this system, unbelievably dangerous. So if we summarise this to say how has this policy been put in place by David Cameron and Theresa May, we thought it needed a little bit of a flow chart. This is the start. Create fear, terrorism. And this is where the great lie has come from, that all of a sudden we've had everybody who is Muslim is a prospective terrorist. And yet we know that ISIL, ISIS have been created with the help of Western money, US and UK money, and their job was to help bring down the president in Syria. So this is the thing, create the terrorism. What can you do then? Well, you're going to ramp up the fear. So David Cameron here was busy saying that essentially there's going to be a massive ISIL attack on Britain, ramp up the fear, encourage people to spy on each other, as you've said, Mike. Then we bring in PREVENT, and we're going to target children. And of course, we're not just targeting the children, we're going for their parents. We bring in the channel system, which we're going to call MAPPA Light, and in come the other authorities. And in MAPPA itself, you have already got a formalised secret state spying and arrest arrangement, which can also use sectioning under mental health. if anybody has any ideas as to how we could put this across more simply to warn the British public that David Cameron is building one of the most vicious fascist states under our very noses, we would like some guidance. But I think a trail of evidence from a preschool in Cornwall to the fact that we are producing a Stasi type state is pretty convincing.